This is wild, guys. AMC down 13.74% right now. Very, very volatile. GameStop down over 10% as well. So what is really going on? We're seeing short ladder attacks, and that's what I want to go over here in this video, as well as go over the levels that I am watching for next. We are not in total meltdown mode. We're not in a very bad situation, but I want to go over exactly where we are at, as well as the Ortex data that is indicating to us that the short interest is obviously rising today. Stonk tracker data, the Fed meeting, and what is going on in the overall markets. So let's get straight into it. Hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Check out the pinned comment down below. Links in the description for free stock. It's not a bad time to get some free money. I hope you guys are buying the dip as well as I am today. Let's get straight into this video. So we're seeing this huge short ladder attack today. We're also seeing spoofing, and that's something that I want to go over as well. Now, a short ladder attack happens in the beginning of trading and at the end of trading. It's a form of price manipulation. What happens is hedge funds and institutions will flood the market when there's the time of the least volatility, right? When they can, as soon as the market opens, flood the market with these sell orders and set that trajectory for the rest of the day. And you usually see a continued sell-off throughout the day once they do this in the beginning of trading, and same thing at the end of trading. So they're essentially flooding the markets with all of these short orders short stock sales, and then that sets the mood for the rest of the day, and you see that sell off throughout the rest of the day. And that's pretty much exactly what we've seen today. As soon as market opened, you've seen a lot of volume come in with all of these sell orders. Take a look at all this volume. 4.8 million in the first 15 minutes, 7 million in the first half an hour, and then the volume does start to die down, but that pushes us down over 10%. That is essentially what a short ladder attack is. Now, what spoofing is, and what I think is actually going on as well today, is when hedge funds, institutions, even banks do this, brokers do this sometimes. This is a very illegal form of price manipulation, but it's essentially sending in all these sell orders and pushing the stock down without actually selling short the stock or selling the stock. You can think about this as the bid to the ask, and once you really just press that ask down and down and down with all of these large sell orders that are not getting filled, but you're still sending that order in, it pushes the stock down that way. JP Morgan just got fined for spoofing the price of silver and gold. This happens all the time, and this is happening today with AMC stock. This move that we're seeing to the downside, 12.5% as we are currently speaking, does not mean retail investors are selling at all. I really want to make this very clear. We go over this on the live stream all the time, but you guys already know it doesn't take a 1-to-1 ratio of buyers to sellers to keep a stock flat, or even a 2-to-1 buyers to sellers to move a stock in one direction. The best way to think about this is think about after hours when earnings come out and the stock just moves up 10% or down 10% on very low volume. This is due to the market makers and who is willing to buy and sell the stock for the most amount of money and the least amount of money. You can also think about this in the sense of when you do see this low volume before any kind of rally, this is because there's not a lot of shares that are trading hands. People aren't jumping into positions very fast because they think the stock's about to move big right away. So you're not seeing those FOMO buyers that push the stock up, or those traders. You're also not seeing people really trying to sell very fast, right? And what essentially happens is when you go through these big rallies or big drops, you see people either trying to rush into positions, and that's usually traders, obviously, or you're seeing people trying to sell out of positions or shorting a stock into the ground very rapidly, and there's not enough people that are willing to come in and keep buying the stock to push it up, rather than people that are coming in and shorting the stock to keep it down. So it's the velocity of the two. And think about this to the upside. It's a little bit easier to think about. If you're seeing a stock go through a big rally, traders come in. If you're willing to buy the stock at 40, somebody else is willing to buy it at $40.25. Somebody else comes in right after willing to buy it at $40.50. That stock can go up and up and up when there's could be more people trying to sell the stock. Just people are trying to buy the stock at a faster rate for a much higher price. That's exactly what is happening to AMC today, but on the downside. So hopefully that makes some sense to you. There is still buyers, there is still regular sellers, but we're definitely seeing much more shorting activity, and shorts want to get into these positions very, very fast. They want to drive AMC into the ground, and we're almost down 15% today, but we're still not in the danger zone in my personal opinion. We need to get down to about $20 per share before we are really in a danger zone, right? That's going to be an over 20% drop from here, or about another 15% drop from here. That's obviously not going to happen today, but it's not off the table heading into the Fed meeting. A lot of people are talking about the 1750 gap fill that we have to obviously fill. And I mean, I don't think it's going to go down there. I think we will get a bounce off 20. That's a psychological support level as well as just a normal support level here at this $20 mark. But we're still just firmly in between our support level we were just at about $26.50 per share and $20 per share at this lower end support level. So it's not all too terrible. If you're somebody that is looking to buy the stock and play the MOAS, this is a great thing for you. You get to acquire more shares at a cheaper price, and forget what people are going to say. People are going to, I know, they're going to jump in the comment section on this video, all these other videos, and say AMC was a scam since the start. It was never gonna MOAS. Yeah, fucking right. You're fooling yourself. It's happened twice. Third time is a charm. We've went over the due diligence. You know the trade. I wouldn't let any exterior factors or people influence your decisions. Always come to your own conclusions and do your own due diligence, all that good stuff you guys already know. Now let's move on to some other data, and we're talking about the Fed meeting. And I actually did expect a bounce today, but that's not what happened. So this is ultimately a bullish thing if you're thinking ahead to after the Fed meeting, because you're seeing the overall market selling down today, with the Dow, S&P, and the Nasdaq down well over 0.5%. Russell 2000 down over 1%. And if you guys think about this, you're seeing the Fed meeting get basically fully priced in right now. Unless we get some crazy announcement that we were not expecting, the market should actually rally off of the Fed meeting. And really, mid caps and small caps should definitely rally, because the S&P 500 is still almost at all-time highs, but it's really only held up by Apple, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, Microsoft, Facebook, these stocks that are almost at all-time highs. If not, like Apple hit an all-time high just on Friday, and these stocks control over 20% of the broad market, or the S&P in general. So once these stocks go, you're going to see all these hedge funds and institutions that have been buying these stocks because they're safer. You're going to see that liquidity and that margin and all the leverage they're using compound against them. They're not going to have enough money to service their margin calls for AMC when AMC does pop. Off the slightest bit of news, off the slightest bit of buying, you're going to see this unfold just like this. Now let's switch gears. Let's get into the Ortex data, and we're looking at some baseline estimates here, so take these with a grain of salt. We all know the real numbers are much higher. Now the short interest of free float is 18.71%. Current shares that are sold short of 95.97 million. We know for a fact the short interest of free float is going to come in on the exchange reported short interest day over 20%, if not as high as 25%. So it's good to see that we're almost at all-time highs as far as the estimate is concerned, but we know this number is much higher. Same thing with the shares that are sold short, Share utilization, 77%. Days to cover at 2.31%. That's the most bullish factor we really have going for us right now, because analysts, skeptics of the AMC MOAS cannot use the saying, hey, the days to cover is so low, shorts could get out of their position in a couple minutes. How can there be a short squeeze? That's not the case right now. There is all the evidence in the world that supports a short squeeze right now, and that's why financial media is so reluctant to talk about AMC and the short squeeze, because it looks so good. Now, that's basically all you guys need to know from the Ortex data. But like I will say again, don't listen to people when they're talking about AMC. Stay true to your own convictions. If you're convicted in AMC and the MOAS, like I am, like a lot of other people are, millions of other people are, then don't let one person or even a couple people deter you from doing what you want to do. Now, as far as the Stonk tracker data, we are obviously seeing the puts work against us today, and you're also seeing a lot of shorting that is happening by the market makers as the puts run from out of the money into the money, and we are seeing a huge amount of puts that are in the money, and this is only Monday, so we could see this totally reverse, and you could see a big bounce by the end of the week, like I do think will happen because of these puts that will ultimately go from in the money out of the money. That consists of de-hedging by the market makers that have to go out and buy shares on the open market to de-hedge for the puts that ran from into the money out of the money, and same thing with the calls that are then running from out of the money into the money. So you do have a lot of puts that are in the money. Also, you do have a lot of puts that are out of the money, 109,000 puts that are out of the money. So still, this could go either way, and I know you guys hate hearing it's 50-50, it could go either way, but that's literally what is happening right now. Now, as far as the calls, we only have about 13,816 calls that are in the money. Out of the money calls, 357,000 calls. That is a very high amount. If we do see a big bounce, you're going to see all these calls run into the money very, very fast. And you are, like I said, going to see a lot of hedging as well. But the most important date we have been waiting for 6 months now is January 21st, 2022. We have 106,000 calls that are still in the money, 385,000 calls that are out of the money. Very high numbers. We're probably going to approach over 500,000 contracts in general on the call side by the time this expiration date does come around. But on the flip side, the put side is looking pretty juicy as well. 81,000 puts that are currently in the money, 244,000 puts that are out of the money. So keep all of this information in mind as we do go through the rest of the week. It's going to be very, very important, but watch that $20 level in general. And then just for, the people's sake, 1750, I've heard this thrown around a lot. That is going to be your worst case scenario. If we get down there, I am going to buy the shit out of AMC. So that's going to be all for this video. Hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel as well as that. Let me know in the comment section, what is your price prediction? What is your price target by the end of this week? Let me know that information because you are a part of this community and your opinion is valuable to me and hopefully to everybody else as well. Check out the link in the description as well as the links pinned in the pinned comment. So love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.